Hello and welcome to the OnlyBets Sports Podcast with me, Stern Betts. Going at it alone today as Drew DeLucci and Prince of Picks had other duties today to take care of. Hopefully, Drew will be able to join us at some point today. Looking back at this weekend, we had some crazy action. Cavaliers absolutely bullied Detroit Pistons to win that game, win that series 4-3. I think that was surprising to a lot of people. Well done. They're going to be facing the Knicks Eve coming up. That's going to be a really intense series. Very interested to see how that turns out. Looking at Friday, our last official day of our show, I had a great day. Yankees money line, cash it. Yankees run line -1.5 plus 130, cash it. Dodgers -1.5, cash it. The half a unit two-leg parlay doesn't come through. Orioles Nats first 5 over 3.5. There was only one run scored in the first 5 innings of that one, which was disappointing. But D-backs Rockies that did come through. Just disappointed that the full parlay didn't come through. But really, what I wanted to mention was Max Muncy plus 425 on my home run sprinkle. That was real nice. Very much looking forward to what we have today. Looking ahead, Drew, can you hear me? I see that you just requested to come on. How was your weekend, man? Can you hear me? All right, as filibustering a little bit, hopefully I don't have to restart the stream. Sabres beat the Canadians on Saturday. That was a pretty impressive 8-3 victory. But looking forward to today, baseball. No day baseball, but we can try looking at a really good hitting day overall. I think that we're going to see a lot of runs pretty across the board. I'm going to focus in though on the Yankees today. Yankees run line -1.5. I got this at plus 103, I believe, 105 on Bet Rivers last night. This is just a great spot for the Yankees, who generally hit lefties very well. They're facing lefty Patrick Corbin, who has very much struggles against a lot of people, but against lefties, he's given up a 320 average. And the Yankees can stack their lineup with lefties. They are absolutely vicious. They rank atop of the league in hitting in almost every single hitting category. In runs per game, they're fifth. Blue Jays are 23rd, and they're significantly worse on the road, while the Yankees are significantly better at home. They're facing Ryan Weathers. Toronto is facing Ryan Weathers. Now, Weathers doesn't really have perfect metrics here, but he does have good control. He has a 29.8% strikeout rate to a 7.2 walk rate. And he is in a good groove with 4 starts in a row of 2 runs or less. Now, something to note, Toronto doesn't strike out that much, which could put a lot of pressure on Weathers' high barrel rate. But I still trust him more than Corbin, who has a 15% strikeout rate and a 9% barrel rate. Way worse stats, expected stats across the board. I'm going to take the superior offense, the superior bullpen. I think the Yankees win by multiple runs. If you wanted to just take the Yankees money line or run line and juice it with the first 5, first 7, or team total to boost it, I really don't mind that at all. That's my main play on the day. I will go over some sprinkles that I have. I really do like the Phillies here. I think they can get get after it. I think this is a really good game against Cincinnati. Nick Lodolo is pitching, not very shaky coming off injury. If he does bounce back to a certain degree, which I kind of expect him to do, I think Philadelphia can chase him from the game early, get to the juicy bullpen, and really great weather today. I'm here in Philadelphia. We're going to be expecting like near 90 plus degree weather with humidity. So balls will be flying. Tigers money line, also a heavy lean on my end. Just for the record, all these leans, I do place a little bit of money, a quarter unit usually on these plays. I really just think that the Tigers are the better team here with the better pitcher. Framber Valdez is facing the Guardians. Jose Ramirez is really the only person that the Guardians have. So I do like the Tigers here. I know that the price has moved since last night where I got it at -140. So I would just wait to play it live. Slade Ciccone against the Detroit Tigers is going to be a disaster, most likely. Another lean that I had was the Orioles today. Really think that they have a good chance to win here at plus money against the Rays. I know that the Rays are going to be favored by a lot of people, but McClanahan and Trevor Rogers is a really good pitcher, should be able to get through 7 innings. I do like him to kind of at least hold down the fort to a point where the Orioles have a decent chance of winning. And if you're going to give me really that big plus money on the Orioles money line, I see value there. The last two plays here are both in the Dodgers games, Dodgers-Padres game, which is going to be phenomenal. When I'm looking at Shota, no, sorry, not Shota. That's the Cubs game. Also another lean of mine. I like the Cubs first 5 when only with Shota on the mound. But Yoshinobu Yamamoto versus Michael King. This was a first 3 under 2.5 lean for me, but couldn't get there with the runs up overall. Dodgers -1.5 is another lean. Real quick, Michael, if you're listening to me and you can hear me, please just text me in the group so that I know that somebody can hear me. I'm really kind of nervous that this Twitter space isn't working, and if it isn't, I would like to quit and restart right away. But in lieu of that, we're going to move on to my home run sprinkle of the day. Yeah, this one's going to be fun. I've been picking him a lot, and I'm picking in the same game. Patrick Corbin. Do not like him. 9% barrel rate, 41.5% hard hit rate, horrible expected stats across the board. Ben Rice. This guy is on fire, and sooner or later, he's just gonna keep knocking them in. So I'm just gonna kind of stick it there. He has a 21% barrel rate. He has a 55.2% hard hit rate. He has a great opportunity today against Corbin, who also has to worry about Goldschmidt, Judge. Sorry, not Goldschmidt. It's one or the other. If Ben Rice is out, I would take Goldschmidt. Judge, I mean, everybody on this team is hitting well. I really think that Corbin's going to be in trouble today. Great weather. I think it's like 13 miles per hour or something blowing out. I'll take Ben Rice at near plus 400, which I think was a complete misprice on the books. I got this at 387 over on DK. All right. Looking forward to the NBA. We have the Cavaliers, right? They beat Detroit last night. That was really an impressive victory. Really, I mean, they just showed out that they were the better team. And we've talked about it really all series and all playoff long. Prince has been very clear. You cannot win with one player, and Cunningham is one player. You need a full team. That's it. Tonight, San Antonio takes on OKC in game 1 in the Western Finals. I lean over here. No official play for me. I thought that the over 219.5 was a little low here. Model supports this play. I'm playing it personally. Again, not official. I just don't see. I know that they're both really good defensive teams, but they're both really, really good offensive and efficient offenses. I really see a higher scoring game overall. I don't know how San Antonio is really going to stop OKC, and I don't really know how OKC is going to stop San Antonio. So if you get a number plus over 210 or something like that live, I would definitely jump on that. Heavy lean on the over 219.5 or over 220 as it's being pushed. Tuesday in the NBA, we have Cavaliers Knicks. That's also going to be an interesting one. Still looking into the series. No real leans. Knicks are -7 favorites at the moment, looking ahead at the lines. Over under 216.5. I guess I would lean Cavaliers in a 2.5 possession type of game, but I'm just staying away for now. We'll see what we get, and I would be very interested to hear Prince and Drew's opinion on that. And I'm really sorry, Drew. I would love for you to get on. I don't know what's happening with Twitter. It is a pain in the butt, but if you request and I can hear you, happy to bring you in.
There we go. Now I can hear you.
Hallelujah.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. All right. Sorry about that, man. I don't know what's going on with
Oh
Twitter.
no, it wasn't your fault.
We've said this a number of times. We have to switch platforms. It's just so simple
Yeah.
to be going live here on Twitter. I do not like talking to myself.
And there's a lot, and it's a high listener database kind of thing, and it's like they say, 10th time's the charm.
All right, so just to recap, just real quick, talked about baseball. We're going to get to it because I'm sure that you have plays. We just kind of touched on basketball a little bit here. Do you have any thoughts on, I guess, yesterday's game, the fact that the Cavaliers just bullied the Pistons out of the playoffs, which was incredible. Any thoughts there or on the game tonight with the Spurs Thunder, or tomorrow with the Cavs Knicks?
Yeah, so I was very surprised by that. But just like overall, looking at it when it came to the Pistons Cavs game, Cavs, because the Pistons were up, of course, in the series, up 2-1 at one point. And then the Cavs just won, like, I believe it was like three in a row. Just watching it, the Cavs played much better defense. The Pistons really couldn't. The issue with the Pistons was 100% their offense. They really couldn't find any way to score against the Cavs. They didn't really have go-to shooters as you would expect from Cade and such. So, and then the Cavs, Donovan Mitchell and James Harden, and the role players were doing great all around, unselfish basketball and basically scoring at will against a really good Pistons defense. Like they were scoring over 100 almost each time. So that's my takeaway from that game.
Yeah, defense, defense, defense. Who do you think is going to win or have a better chance? I think in the series, it's like the series betting, it's -1.5 on the Knicks side. Do you have a thought on Knicks or Cavs in that series?
Ooh, that's tough. I would say my initial thought with that, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, the Knicks have home court advantage, right?
Yes. Yes, they do.
Yes, yeah. Something I will say that's going to be very interesting in the series. I'll say this will be the Knicks' toughest test in terms of facing. I would say elite guard play. In my personal opinion, like, and the biggest thing when, of course, when they ended up, because when the Knicks played the Hawks. They didn't really have to deal with, in my opinion, like elite necessarily guard play. And then yes, against the Sixers, they had to deal with elite guard play with Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe. But the problem is those were like less experienced, I would say, guards, of course, and not as seasoned guards. And now you're facing veterans that have been there and done that. As much as you say, of course, about Harden, and I trash on Harden, you're facing two veteran guards have played a lot of playoff games and are very well experienced. And the way to beat the Knicks is play great guard play, get boards, and attack in the paint as well too. So I don't have a takeaway. I like to see game one. I know that's a cop way out, but that's just my overall thing.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm kind of right there with you. I would like to see what kind of energy the Knicks bring because they are very much two different teams. I think Cavaliers are probably a more consistent team defensively. Just going to be looking forward to watching that. And I'm sorry if you mentioned this. Any thoughts on the Spurs Thunder tonight?
Yeah, definitely. Of course, you have the alien Wimby. Uh, you're my only hope, as I call it, Wimby. No Star Wars, but play I like the play I like in this game is Julian Champagne. Oh no, Champagne is it Champagne? Is that how you say his name?
I honestly don't know,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah. But him over. Yep, exactly. I like him over 39 points and rebounds. I really like him, especially this year. He I believe he shot in this postseason 45%. He's making over 45% of his threes. And I expect him to play a lot of minutes, upward of at least like 12 or so field goal attempts. And then I think that's good value with the rebounds because he is somebody who can get rebounds as well. So I really like Julian Champagne for the Spurs over 39 points and rebounds.
he's sneaky. I like him
Yeah,
in DFS a lot. I take him and he does really well for me. I mean, some days obviously he doesn't. The averages are what the averages are, but he can spike from game to game, and he's always a sneaky play. I like him a lot.
I always like to get him with like rebounds because out of nowhere he can have like a 5 or 6 rebound game, and that can take that if he has like a 5 rebound game, then all we need is like 8 points from him. So.
Yep, yep, and very much doable. Any other thoughts in the NBA before we switch to the NHL?
No, but something I will say though is I know we probably expected the Spurs Thunder, but probably did not expect the Cavs Knicks. So I'm looking forward to both these series. Both these series are going to be very exciting.
Yeah, one of them has to win. Tonight, looking forward to the Canadians Sabres series tied 3-3. This is game 7. This should be tight. Sabres have home ice advantage. I'm not really sure how you say that. Any thoughts on this game?
You said it exactly right though. But definitely I would say I lean towards the Sabres here. in this case, in my personal opinion, but I'm going to go with another point play. I like Josh Doan over half a point. He has 3 goals and 10 points in 12 games played this postseason, which I wrote down some of these stats, which he followed up in which he tallied 25 goals and 52 points for the regular season. He is especially strong in this series as his 10 points are made up of 7 points in the 7 games played against Montreal. So when he plays Montreal, he generally scores. Let me double check this line real quick. I believe it was at -120, but yeah, John Doan, Doan, I believe is actually how you say it, and over half a point for him.
That's great. I do like that. I do lean Sabres, I guess. I just don't know which version of the Sabres team we're going to get. Are we going to get back against the wall Sabres, or are we going to get, let's try to duke it out defensively Sabres? Two completely different teams. So I guess I lean on the home field here, on the home ice here, but not really sure on an
The over
official
five and
pick.
a half isn't a bad value look. I'll say that too.
It's not a bad look, but if I'm looking at the series, most of these, I mean, yeah, I don't know. A day
Yeah.
after an 8-3 game, I'm not looking to bet an over.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Same. But I was saying like that's just crazy value because looking at this series, right? I
Yeah,
believe
6,
every single game covered
8,
but one.
yeah, 6, 8, 5, 9, 11. Yeah,
Yeah.
only one game has gone under that. I just don't know. I just don't know. I
So
don't
that's
know.
very suspicious. I don't want to touch it.
Very excited to
Very
watch
suspicious,
the
but
game though,
right.
because that's going to be a really fun game. All right.
Yeah.
Any thoughts in, I guess, the WNBA? I don't really. Usually Prince is the
No.
guy who does that for us. Nothing today, but we do have 2 games today. So go search him on Twitter or X at Prince of Picks 10. He will definitely have a play today, or his VIP channel. One or the other is going to have a play in the WNBA. Soccer, tennis. I don't really have anything today. I'm really sticking to baseball and trying to limit my exposure a little bit. Um, Anything else on the world of sports before we head back to the MLB, Drew?
No, but I found it. Josh Doan. I found on Fanatics for -110.
Nice. Definitely worth shopping your lines, everybody. All right, let's go back to the MLB. Drew, where are you going?
Yeah. Even though it's the Mets, I'm gonna fade this pitcher against the Mets because I like fading this pitcher. And it's easy, and then they put the line 15.5. But Jake Irvin under 15.5 outs. I see on Fanatics for -155. Of course, shop your lines. I still like that juice. If you just look at him overall, he never really covers over 15.5. I think he's covered a once out of his 8 or 9 starts. When he usually you'll see a lot of 5 innings for him. There's a reason for that. They don't like taking him in the 6th inning. Last game he played, he only made it 3 innings. The game before that, they brought him in the 6th just to give him a chance. He gave up a home run first batter, and they took him out immediately. So even though they're facing the Mets, who are kind of been atrocious against starting pitching, they are playing in a very favorable ballpark. And Jake Irvin overall is not really a strikeout pitcher, and he allows a lot of hard contact. Not as many home runs as we're used to, but I think he's going to negatively regress in the home run market period because last year he did give up the most home runs all year with 38. So yeah.
Yeah, never a bad idea. Mets are coming on strong right now. I think this is a really good look. I do just want to say I do expect Jake Irving to bounce back positively a little bit, just a little bit. Like I don't expect him to give up 9 runs in the first 3 innings, but
Yeah.
I do obviously like his under on the outs. I think 15.5, if you can get that, that's like it hits like 80% in a year.
It's like 80 something percent. He's only covered it once.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
wild. Just a little thought here. If you guys wanted to play a little bit of a hedging game, you can get the Mets at -1.5 at +120. All right. And then you can also get Washington on the money line at +120. So you're essentially betting that the Mets don't win by exactly 1 run, but you can get plus money on both sides of that equation if you're so interested. I played it. I thought that was a good value. Drew, any more thoughts in the MLB today?
Yeah. What I was there was some games that, of course, I was interested in. I was it's going to be cool. The Giants are coming to Arizona. I'm going to, try to go to the game tomorrow because I'm in Arizona. So that's going to be fun. We have Robbie Ray versus Zach Allen. Robbie Ray returning to Arizona where he basically started. So I think that's going to be a pretty overall cool sight. I think this is one of, he hasn't returned to, I think, pitch in Arizona in a little bit. So I just think overall that game is going to be fun to watch, especially after the Giants are coming off series win against the Battle of the Bay, and they just won 10-1 against the A's, and their bats are getting hot. So I don't know if you had any takes on that game. I think it's gonna be a fun game to watch.
Yeah, Giants game. I actually had them in that A's game overall. I really did like that for them. Against Arizona, I just don't know. Well, Arizona. So the problem with the Giants is their offense isn't great,
No, it's
or
terrible.
it hasn't been clicking, right?
Yeah,
Arizona's offense has been clicking. I just can't trust their bullpen or their pitching.
yeah.
Zach Allen, have no idea what to expect from him on the mound. So to stay away from me personally,
Okay.
I yeah, I just can't get on one side or the other. I have plays in almost every other game though. If you have any other
Oh yeah,
questions.
definitely. But yeah, I would say for me because I don't want to I don't want to completely force it. That's probably all the ones that I'm going to do. For example, like I know Trevor Rogers is returning from his injury. I don't really want to risk betting his outs if just in case they want to limit him or they don't want to limit him. And then the only other guy I was really looking at was Sonny Gray. Anytime I see, but they don't necessarily have good lines up for him because there's a lot of non-ace pitchers today. Brian Wu, when they usually do Brian Wu's outs, they usually over exaggerate. Yeah, like here they have 17 and a half minus 215. I usually like his at 17 and a half, but I personally think too much. That's too much. What is it called? Too much juice. And if they had Yamamoto at over 17 and a half, I would have combined both of them, but they have him at 18 and a half. So I'm just going to stick with that one play for baseball. But I would say some of my money line leans that I'm not going to make official plays that I think are pretty good value, personally, in my opinion. I really don't mind the Mariners money line at minus 165 against Noah Schultz. I think Noah Schultz is going to be an amazing pitcher down the road, but they're facing Brian Wu, one of the aces. I think he's going to have positively regress. And another money line that I personally like that I think is good value is the Braves against Max Meyer minus 105. And lastly, money line that I think has also I think like a kind of like my underdog of the day, personally, would be the Orioles at the Rays. That would be my underdog of the day.
Yep, I am in lockstep with you. Actually, I went over my leans earlier because it was just me on the show and had to do something for 15 minutes on baseball, but I gave out the Phillies first five money line or their team total or full game money line or run line. I really like the Phillies today. It's 90 degrees here, wind blowing out. I think that they have the better pitcher. I wouldn't necessarily, I'm not in love with Painter, but I think that he is the better pitcher in that matchup. Tigers money line, Orioles, Dodgers minus 1.5, and then a Dodgers Padres first three under 2.5. Those were the kind of the leans that I had put on my article last night. So very much in lockstep with you.
Love it.
Any other thoughts in the MLB? There's a lot going on. Texas, Colorado. I thought that was a really interesting game
Oh yeah.
because my model screams over, my instincts scream under because it's 40-degree weather.
Oh
Which
yeah.
is so bizarre while I'm sweating here in Philadelphia, 90 plus degrees right now. But
Oh
any
yeah.
thoughts of that game? Like, I really don't know what to think on that one.
Yeah. Luckily, here in Arizona, Arizona today. Well, it's going to be 100 soon eventually. But right now, it's at 8:57 a.m. It's a cool 72, and I
I'm
can
in
definitely
the
feel it.
Rangers Rockies
Yeah.
in Colorado.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. That's tough because you have Mackenzie Gore because we don't know. He's kind of like what we were talking about with Zach Allen. We don't know what Mackenzie Gore we're going to get at the end of the day. And another one is Jose Quintana. He actually hasn't been as bad as like people think he's been. He's had these blow up starts, and he's another pitcher. So this is one of those where I think a live betting over would help if we see like the first two innings, what kind of stuff. Because usually when I look at overs, I look at starting pitchers. Because usually starting pitchers are going to go 4 to 6 innings at the end of the day, and then when it gets to the bullpen, that's where it can change. But if you think the starting pitchers will do well, just wait to live bet the over and then change. So that's my take on it. I think it's a good live bet opportunity.
Yeah, that's a good look. Here's my take on Mackenzie Gore today. I think that the Rockies are going to struggle. They're the second worst strikeout rate in the league. Gore, that's the only thing he's got. He's got a good strikeout rate. Everything else is pretty suspect. 11% barrel rate, 44% hard hit rate. His walk rate's out of whack. His whiff rate's down. Something is different, but he is still getting a 26% strikeout rate. So I'm me look at an over 2 or 3 earned runs and over 5 or 6 strikeouts parlay together. I wonder what that payout is. If I can get that payout at plus 450 or 500, I think it might be worth a buck or two, you know? Because I could see both scenarios happening. I could see him having a great day striking out people and then also struggling for an inning or two against a better than expected Colorado club.
Oh no, I definitely agree with you. I think one of the biggest things, this is to the listeners, where people misconstrued, right, is if you're like, if people are new to baseball, they think like, oh, if you think someone's going to strike someone out a lot, they're not going to give up much. That doesn't necessarily mean that at all, because if you give up, think about it, if in the first inning, right, if you give up 2 runs, there's still no out, so you can strike out 3 people still. So I like that a lot.
Not only that, but if somebody has like someone like Quintana, if he's doing well, it's because he's getting contact and opponent's bad contact, which doesn't lean yourself towards strikeouts. If you're giving up runs, you have to work around batters. You're more likely to strike people out as you work the counts. You won't pitch as long, but you'll be striking people out at a greater rate. At least that's what I've seen, especially
No,
from
yeah,
people
yeah,
like Tariq
exactly.
Skubal and Paul Skeens, like those elite pitchers. The only reason why they have usually the reason why they don't go over their strikeout count is because they're pitching to contact so well that they don't get to 2 strikes to give them their strikeout pitch. That's really the reason. And I bet on Paul Skeens enough to understand that. It's wild. You're like, how does this guy not get 6+ strikeouts every single time? He averages over 7 or whatever strikeouts a game because he'll have those incredible games where he'll strike out 10 or 12, but it's not usual. It's not every single game. Just pulled Paul Skeens out of a hat. I'm not 100% sure on his metrics, his stats exactly, but overall, that's pretty much how I feel like it goes. I do agree with you on the Baltimore side. I think Trevor Rogers could have a really good game. Talked about Detroit. We've talked about most games here. Atlanta, definitely agree with you on Atlanta side. I think that they should be the favored. They have one of the best offenses in all of baseball, especially from the 6th inning on, compared to the Marlins, who have a terrible bullpen. So that could be an interesting matchup. I wouldn't be surprised if Prince had a team total parlay with Atlanta, New York Mets, or Yankees, honestly, and maybe Philadelphia. I think that would be a fun little one. Not going to play it, but could definitely see it. Houston, I have a lean on over Minnesota. Kansas City, Boston, I'm not going to touch that.
Yeah.
Cubs talked about the first 5 money line or the first 5 run line. I think that is worth it on the Cubs. That was going to be my official play before I found the Yankees play. I don't know. Anything else before we get to our question of the day and wrap the show up?
No, but something I'll give it a good example just to the listeners of because of course we know I believe there's 3 pitchers that have had like 20 strikeout games, right? I believe Kerry Woods when he had struck out 20 people. The guys, there's only 27 outs in a game. When he struck out 20 people, he still gave up like 2 runs, and that sounds like how do you give up 2 runs when you strike out 20 people? That's a great example right there. Like you can still give up runs. So yeah,
Yeah, 100%. I remember Kerry Woods. He was a fun pitcher. All right,
there's
question of the
Kerry
day.
Wood, Randy Johnson, and Roger Clemens.
That's quite a group. I remember Roger Clemens growing up as a Yankee fan. That was a lot of fun. Him and Andy Pettit. first as rivals and then as teammates. That was fun.
The Rocket.
All right. If you can choose to be a professional athlete in any sport, what would you choose and why?
So I have a question for you. Is this based off of like, let's say I did have the skills to do so, or is it because like, do I base it off of like,
No, no,
what
no.
do I
If you
think my
want,
skills would suit me the
no,
best?
nothing to do with skills. What would you want
Okay.
to do and why?
Okay. What do I want to do and why? Ooh, that's a really good question. Um, I would say personally, see, uh, just baseball because I love watching baseball, but I think the grind of baseball uh would be very hard. I don't want to play in the NFL because that would be uh there's only like I would love to play in the NFL, but to get hit that much would be absolutely insane. Actually, you know what? You know what? I would say the NBA, probably. I know it's the same amount of games as hockey, but the reason why NBA, I would love to do that. It would probably be easier to practice, right? Not really much equipment you have to deal with. You don't really have to worry about wearing padding and stuff. Of course, if I was tall enough and stuff, but overall, I like playing in indoor arenas. I think that would be much better than having to play outdoor arenas. And then just the idea of doing some like 5-on-5 like team intense play at the end of the day. You don't have to like sit on the sideline, worry about coming out, like, be outside in like very, hot or cold weather and stuff like that. Like, where you're going to go in, overall. And I don't think the travel would be as bad. It's more of a tight knit group, not worry about 50 plus people on a roster. So I would say that.
That's an interesting thoughts.
Yeah.
My first thought's also baseball. I mean, I can't not. Maybe like a relief pitcher or a starting pitcher where I
Oh,
don't have
yeah.
to play every day, Like what was that show? Blue Mountain State. He was the backup quarterback. He's like, it's great. I get all the benefits of
Alex
being
Moran.
an yeah, yeah. I get all the benefits of being an athlete without actually having any of the responsibilities game time. I don't know though. I feel like baseball has the highest salaries for the lowest skill. So, I mean, their union is just insane. And they've been dominant thanks to their multiple strikeouts.
Yeah, the problem
Or
is
I should say,
the minor leaguers get paid like terribly.
that's true. But this is
Yeah.
professional. I
Yeah,
guess
it's
that doesn't say
professional. You're right.
which.
Yeah.
I would probably say maybe like give me like a left fielder or something. Like stick me out somewhere. Or a bullpen piece where I only come out every once in a while. Um, Yeah, I don't know. I have to say baseball. I would love to
Yeah.
travel the country. I would love to be able to experience the road. I don't know, but you're right. It is a long season. It's 100 and whatever game, 182 games, 100 and something games,
162. Yeah.
162 games. It's a
Insane.
lot. It is insane.
People don't
You
realize
only get
how
like
in
two
shape these
months
guys
off.
are.
If you
Like,
play in the playoffs, you get 2 months off
yeah.
because as soon as March comes around, April comes around, you're already being requested to go down to Florida or Arizona or wherever your spring training is.
Yeah, these guys are in extreme shape, and I think people realize like they don't just, of course, sit around like these shortstops and like outfielders. They have to, they throw a lot. There's a lot of wear and tear even on the outfielders' arms and stuff. And you're playing 162 games of running around, running the bases, sliding awkwardly, and you have to do it the next day. You have to make sure you stretch. Just overall, and of course, for the basketball, I'm not saying you don't necessarily like practice is easy. I'm saying it's one of those things you can just go to like of course a park to practice and stuff. You don't have to worry about as much equipment. But my second one would definitely be baseball because I just love baseball. I would love the ability to learn how to hit a baseball because I think it's the hardest thing to do in sports is to get a base hit in baseball alone, let alone make contact. So that would be interesting to me.
You know what? Tomorrow, can you bring that question to the question of the day? What's the hardest thing in professional sports? Because that's a
Definitely.
really interesting angle and question that we can talk about. But for now, let's recap our best bets. Let's get on out of here. I got to get back to work at some point today. Get our week started. Let's go.
Oh, definitely. Let me see. Oh, I forgot to say my home run play. I'll just add it on my best bets when I
Oh,
say them.
yeah. Who's your home run play for the day?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. I'm actually going to go to the Mets because Jake Irvin, right? I'm just going to keep it. I'm going to keep it kind of simple. I know it's very low odds. Usually I do plus 300 or more, but Juan Soto plus 240 against Jake Irvin, a very very favorable hitting ballpark, and against Jake Irvin as well. So yeah,
Don't hate that. I got Ben Rice. I think that it's a day for New York today. What's the New York song? Can you sing it for me? Just to give me
oh
a little nostalgia.
I forgot.
Go listen to Frank Sinatra's New York. It
I
really
know. I
is
love Sinatra too.
coming. All right. What else you got for the day? What's your pitcher out prop for the day?
Yeah. I have Jake Irvin under 15.5 outs minus 155. I have Champagne over 12.5 points in rebounds. I have Josh Doan with 1 point for minus 110. And then sprinkle Juan Soto home run at plus 240.
Love it. I got Ben Rice at plus 387 over on DK. I think it's complete misprice. I don't understand it. And then the Yankees minus 1.5 at plus 105. Thank you guys so much for listening with us. Shout out to my new friend Gary, who's hopefully listening today. Met him yesterday on my walk around St. Joe's, around Philadelphia. Gorgeous area. And if you guys are ever going out in the area, hit me up so that we can go out for beers every Tuesday and or Wednesday night. We are going out. But that's going to do it for our show today. Thank you for listening to us. If you guys want to come out, request to speak, we usually have an open forum between 12 or 12:15 where we invite the public to come onto our show, give your take, ask any questions. We're generally pretty friendly and we don't bite. But that's going to do it for us. Thank you again. Have a wonderful week.